What's going on, everybody? This is my, I guess, official launch of the Northbound Creative YouTube channel. So, had to make a video at some point. So, we're doing it ultra low budget using the iPhone propped up on the speaker. We got the AC fan going. I just came back from the gym. But, you know, I had to get to a point to just actually start and do the thing. And so I figured I'd kind of make a video about that, about just like doing the thing, just starting the thing. I have a lot of kind of ideas about where I want this channel to go, or like what I actually want to do with it. I want it to be a place of conversation, a community, a place where people can come and tap into a creative space with people that are also on a similar wave, but also to, I guess, just talk out ideas that are in my head. A lot of times, some of the ideas I have for this kind of channel, or kind of videos that I would want to put out, or, you know, they're ideas that I have in my head. Some of it is stuff that, as corny as it may sound, I feel like could help people, that things that just ideas that I've formulated over the years, or just like realizations that have like really helped me start to grow more into myself and whatnot. But honestly, a lot of it is just speaking out the things that, even just like kind of from a therapeutic sense, like speaking out the ideas that are in your head, not only to potentially like help other people, that, you know, sometimes you just need something said a different way for it to click, but also even just the act of doing it is like kind of cathartic, or you know, just kind of helps me out as well. So it's kind of twofold, but yeah, I guess I just wanted to make a video about just starting, because I think with just about anything, especially like in the creative space, like that's the hardest part, is the initial jump into the pool, the initial step into the water. And I know, like, for me personally, like, it literally took me years of just sitting on my hands, knowing I wanted to do the thing before I did the thing. And like, I don't know if anybody relates, like, I'm very much an overthinker, like an overanalyzer. Like, I really think through the possibilities, really like to try and develop frameworks for things. But there's a rapper named Deontay Hitchcock, who's super cool, super dope. But he had a thing on Instagram, or maybe it was a tweet or something, I don't remember. But he said something like, thinking about the thing is not doing the thing. And I was like, damn, I'm guilty as charged. I'd be thinking about the thing a lot. I really be thinking heavy, but like, it really is just like overanalyzing. And I think it's so easy to like overanalyze. It's so easy to think a framework around the idea or around what you want to do, and you feel like you're moving towards it. But a lot of times, like, if you're just sitting thinking and you're not actually like moving towards it, you're not really gaining any traction. Like, obviously you have to think things through, you have to formulate ideas, you have to like build on them, but like, it's at least for my brain, like when I start to like overthink, or when I start to really like let the gears spin too fast, that's when they just start spinning, and then it'll actually sometimes move me off the track, you know, that I want to actually go down. And so like, one thing I've learned, like just kind of studying a lot of different artists and like musicians in general, is like they work so fast. Like a lot of the best artists, rappers, producers, they work so fast. They cook up beats in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Like rappers go in there, they one take it, boom. Like Lil Wayne's like a legend for that. Like doesn't write, goes in the booth, freestyles, verse, done, one take, next one, done. And like, obviously some of that is like talent, some of that is skill. But I think another part of it is like not letting the analytical side of your brain interfere too much, because once that starts to happen, it like kind of takes you out of the flow state. I saw this thing that was like, thought is the enemy of flow. And so the Beatles were like this too, where like they would just hop in the studio and they would just boom, 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 bang out tunes for hours and hours and hours. And there wasn't actually a ton of like thought and strategizing like going on within it. It was just like, hey, let's do this. Okay, boom. And then you come in, boom. And then they just kept it pushing. And I think the beauty in that is it lets you channel, and the over analyzing like brings you out of the channel. And so that's something like, at least for me, I've like really had to work myself through, because I'm just a certified overthinker, overanalyzer when it comes to that. And I will pull myself off track all the time. But yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to just like starting the thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's something in art, whether it's something in music, whether it's something in business, I at least tend to get into this state where it's like, I feel like I don't know enough to do it, or I'm not like, whatever the fill in the blank, but it's always like there seems to be an inadequacy in order to actually start. And I think that's what's definitely hindered me before, and I know that like hinders a lot of people, is like you don't feel like you're up to the task to start the journey. But I actually think like that can be an advantage, like either feeling that way, whether it's true or not, is like it allows you to approach it from a very fresh perspective. Like a lot of music was created with very non-traditional ideas, solely because people, like some of these artists, didn't have they didn't have preconceived notions that were put into their mind about how things should go. And so I think there's kind of a beauty in that, and like just that ignorance is kind of bliss, but also an advantage in the sense of like, hey, I'm going to do this because that's what I think is right, regardless of what it may or may not actually be. And so I think that's kind of a cool thing. Or I don't know, you can just flip that into an advantage. People think, you know, that you need these sort of things to actually go, but I think going without those things allows you to actually approach it from a different way, where it's like, oh wow, okay, maybe you know, maybe I can do things differently because of that. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to make this video, you know, about starting, about actually getting your foot in the right direction. And I think in some ways that's the most painful part in a lot of different things, but I guess I just wanted to offer some encouragement there. It's like, hey, we used to have a saying for one of the old companies I worked for, choose your hard. And I mean, life is just a series of like hardship and struggle. Like there's kind of nothing around it. Nothing worthwhile is going to be easy. And I think like accepting that has kind of made my life a little bit better, knowing like, hey, there's not going to be this point where just there's no struggle, or there's no problems, or there's nothing that you're dealing with. Like that's just the constant. That's just the normalcy of what it is. When it comes to choosing your hard, it's like the hard is either starting the journey knowing that it is going to be extremely difficult, because I think most people have something in their head that's like, I would love to be doing this ideally, but ... you know, and a lot of it is like roadblocks, struggles, a lot of work, you know, whatever the case may be. But it's like, okay, that could be the thing where it's like, okay, I want to start this thing. I know it's going to be extremely difficult. I know it's going to be excruciating. I know the learning curve is going to be painful, embarrassing, whatever, don't have enough, blah, 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 excuse. That's hard for sure. Whatever the thing is, whatever your thing is, like, it's definitely hard. But then you have to look at the flip side, and it's like the other hard, so to speak, is like, okay, I never did the thing, or I never even tried, or I just stayed in the same place where I was. And I think the potential regret of staying in the same place, knowing that you actually want to do a different thing, at least for me, is always going to be a greater pain than the pain of actually pushing towards the things that you would really prefer and that you actually love to do. And like, if it results in making less money, if it results in making sacrifices, if it results in people looking at you a certain type of way, like, screw it. Like, you have to determine like what the heart is. And if I think if we're real with ourselves, a lot of times it's like the heart of not doing, of inaction, of regret, is, it's like kind of a scary feeling if you really like boil it down and you really like sit in it for a little bit. So I think the heart of doing the thing, whatever your thing is, like whatever it is that you really love, like, I think that's just always worth it. And so, shoot, that's what I've been trying to do. I made this YouTube channel. I'm gonna be posting more things on here. I'm gonna be posting my music on here, and then just like more ideas that pop into my head, and also going to be getting the podcast back up and running very soon. So thank you for anyone and everyone that watched any part of this. I appreciate the time and energy, and more coming. Much love. Appreciate it.